Hello and welcome to Finding Solutions. I'm Tanya Breyer, and in this episode we mark International Women's Day. It may seem as if it's a recent occurrence and a very current issue, but gender equality and International Women's Day itself has been observed since the early 20th century, developing alongside the suffragette movement. The first official mass rally took place in 1911, with marches for women's rights in cities across Europe. Now, International Women's Day rallies attract millions around the world, proving that although the right to vote has mostly been achieved, there's still a lot of work to be done when it comes to true equality. The theme for International Women's Day 2021 was Women in Leadership, Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID-19 World. And who better to discuss those themes than Phumzile Mlambo-Ngcuka, Executive Director of UN Women, and UN Women Goodwill Ambassador and actor Anne Hathaway. Phumzile, you've also said that we're at a crossroads as we look at recovery post-COVID-19 and the impact on women and girls. How optimistic are you?
I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm not laid back about it. I know that we have to be very proactive, because if you just consider that some of the biggest problems of this pandemic is job losses. 2/3 of the jobs that are lost were lost by women. The increase in violence against women, the high rate of dropout in schools that has happened to girls, the burden of care at home, a subject that Anne is very familiar with and has been helping us to highlight the importance of parental involvement and engagement. So we've seen the importance of parental leave, parental collaboration as the burden of work for parents, and the lack of digital skills amongst women, which has meant that they are not able to use this time when people are working virtually to work virtually themselves. So in the recovery, you have to have women involved because they have to address these issues, which are their issues. But right now, we are worried that a number of the task forces that are addressing the pandemic are actually not gender representative. Of the 87 countries that we've been tracking, only 3.6 have got task teams that are gender equal. So you'd have a predominantly male committee addressing gender-based violence, burden of care, lack of virtual skills for women, dropouts of girls in school. It's just not viable. So we really are pushing very hard for a women's place and women's voices in the decisions that are being taken, because that's going to reshape the rest of our lives. At least at my generation, I think this is it. So we cannot allow for the reset to be wrong again.
Annie, how worried are you about the lack of progress and the impact that the pandemic will have on the initiatives that the UN Women have been working on?
I am worried because I know through my involvement with UN Women and having had the honor of working alongside and with Phumzile for a number of years, I know how hard women have been working, how hard UN Women working, and no one has worked harder than Phumzile, how hard they've been working to do this work, to make this progress, to make this change, which, yes, it's under the banner of UN Women, but it benefits everybody. And to see so much of that work and so much of that progress beaten backwards by this pandemic, it is troubling, it is worrying, particularly when you take into consideration the idea that 11 million girls are unlikely to return to school. You think about the shadow pandemic of abuse in the homes, women locked up with their abusers. These are very, very serious issues. And I want to see a world in which, my children grow up thinking that this stuff is not a big deal, that equality is not a big deal. What do you mean you have to fight for something like this? I think we're all ready for it. I think we've all lost our patience. And I think of what the great Shirley Chisholm said: if they don't offer you a seat at the table, you bring a folding chair. I think we're tired of bringing our own folding chairs. I think we deserve a seat at the table. And this is an opportunity to make sure that everyone gets one.